Please rise for the processional. Please be seated. Welcome to the 2025 Hillsboro High School graduation ceremony. We are pleased to have you all here today to celebrate an important event in the lives of our Hillsboro High School students. To begin this afternoon's ceremony, it is my privilege to present the president of Hillsboro High School, class of 2025, Gabrielle Arnold.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're so glad you're here. Today is about more than caps, gowns, and diplomas. It's about stories. The stories of late nights, early mornings, unexpected challenges, and surprising victories. Our high school journey has been akin to assembling IKEA furniture without the instruction manual. Sure, there were moments we thought we had extra pieces or feared the entire thing might collapse. But look at us now, standing strong, although there may be a few unexpected screws left over. To the graduates, we did it. We've crossed a finish line that may have once felt far away, and now we're standing at the edge of something new, something exciting, unknown, and full of promise. To the proud families, supportive friends, and dedicated teachers, thank you. Thank you for cheering from the sidelines, for answering dumb questions, and for showing up again and again. Today, we celebrate not just what we've accomplished, but who we've become. Resilient, creative, courageous, ready. So welcome, everyone, to a day of joy, reflection, pride, and probably a few happy tears. Let's honor this moment and the bright futures it leads to. Congratulations, class of 2025. Let's begin.
Will Gabrielle Arnold, Seth Driggers, Luke Isaac, Kenzie Meisinger, and Lincoln Wickert please come forward? During their studies at Hillsboro High School, these students have met the following Hillsboro High School requirements of 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 years of social science, and 3 years of science, which includes chemistry and physics. These students have maintained a perfect 4.0 grade point average in their class while also being involved in many school activities. It is my pleasure to present to you the valedictorians for the class of 2025.
We are honored to represent the class of 2025 today as the valedictorian speakers. For the last several years, we have been looking forward to this moment, but now that it is here, all we have left to do is cherish. With that said, we want to reminisce with you and share stories of our times together. Many of us began this journey together as early as preschool, where alongside our parents, we shed our first tears at the thought of leaving home. In elementary school, we formed friendships on the playground where we exchanged Pokemon cards and hoped that recess would never end. In third grade, Mrs. Knoll and Mrs. Dick were determined to make sure we mastered the rule of 9, so we could finally earn the candy-filled multiplication bags hanging from the ceiling. You remember, it's that trick where the product's first digit is 1 less than the number you're multiplying by 9. We learned 2 things that year, that nothing worth having comes easy, and that math is hard. We spent countless Kansas days dressing up as prairie girls and cowboys, making sunflower-shaped cookies and watching videos of Mr. Yoder's bison. We all looked forward to music specials with hopes that we would get another opportunity to see what new tunes we could make with the boomwhackers. Who knew smacking a plastic pipe against your hands and legs could be so entertaining? Anytime one of our elementary teachers was absent, the classroom stilled as we all silently wished that Mrs. Kathy Klein was our substitute teacher, craving the lifesaver candies she always brought with her. In 5th grade, we became stars of our own family reading night videos, dressing up and acting out our favorite book characters. In addition to directing these Academy-worthy skits, Mrs. Arnold also taught us how to read and type, with Mavis Beacon's slightly annoying voice forever reminding us that F and J are our home keys. Fast forward to our awkward middle school years, during which Mrs. Melton did everything in her power to keep her room from smelling like body odor and feet. We always knew it was going to be a good day if we could successfully distract Mr. Olkey from actually teaching, and instead telling us the down low on the best places to eat and the events of his latest hunting trips. One of the best memories I have from middle school was when we made life-size cardboard food trucks with Mr. Dalkey and invited all of our families to sample our surprisingly delicious food. Before COVID changed everything, we spent as much time as we could in Mrs. Wisenhunt's makerspace, playing Battleship and Connect 4 or letting our creativity run wild with Legos. And then high school arrived.
Arriving in our freshman year, we went from being the top of the middle school back down to the bottom in high school. For many of us, the transition from school was a big jump and which had us nervous. Fortunately, we found some things that interested us. These were classes, new electives, new sports like baseball and swim, and also new activities like theater and homecoming. A class that was required for us all was English, where in Kaufman's class we were able to act out our interpretations of Romeo and Juliet, where lightsabers may or may not have been evolved. And many of us also had the optional class of Mr. Dalkey, where we would get way into the Pictionary and have Mario Kart tournaments. In this period of time, many of us were also starting to learn how to drive, whether it be through permits or licenses. This gave us a glimpse of what it was like to not have to be puppied and driven around by our parents. By sophomore year, we had a little more choice in picking our classes, and one exciting new addition was our AV class, as well as many of the online classes to specific interests. One of the few required classes, however, was Coach Knoll's, his world history class, where we watched so much John Green that Crash Course World History was engraved into our minds, and Knoll blamed his tech terrorists for messing up his sound bar at least once a day. One of our most memorable projects from that class was our Shark Tank inventions, where we were able to invent something new or reinvent an old invention with the go-kart shopping cart and the reinvention of the Jeep Wrangler. And then we were 16, the driver's permits became licenses, and then finally we became upperclassmen.
In our junior year, we all had to knock out quite a few core classes. And though this didn't seem exciting at first, it didn't stop us from having a little fun along the way. Our chemistry class frequently began with dance parties with Mrs. Baldner, until it was actually time to lock in and learn something. And our unit tests in that class were no joke. Once we would get through one, we'd all nervously walk out into the hallway and talk to each other, hoping that we'd all get the same number of trues and falses on the test, or that we all got the same answer to a multiple choice question that no one seemed to know. In English 3, we all made iconic videos reenacting scenes from the Scarlet Letter, some of which were more accurate than others, and some, well, they just got points for comedy. I'll never forget the day when someone decided to pick up a free microwave off the street and bring it into English class so they could warm up their ding-dong, only to burn it and make the whole class smell terrible. As we neared the end, we all got heated in a reenactment of the First World War in Mr. Colley's history class. Countries went to war, planes committed crimes, and friendships were pushed to their limits. It was all people could talk about for a week, until one country finally reigned superior. Many of us wrapped up our junior year at prom. It started with nerve-wracking promposals and searching for the perfect outfit, and it ended with us singing our hearts out to our favorite songs and getting hyped, having the time of our lives. At after prom, we played countless rounds of thrilling laser tag and ate way too much of the deliciously greasy pizza. Then we had to say goodbye to some of our closest friends as they graduated, and we had to step into their shoes as seniors in high school.
As I reflect on our senior year, I can't help but think interesting doesn't even begin to cover it. Our class has grown closer and shared more laughter this year than ever before, and I'd like to think it's largely thanks to the senior room in the library. From day one, we turned that space into our little sanctuary, complete with mismatched couches, flags that could probably tell stories, and drawings on the whiteboard that range from artistic masterpieces to, well, let's just call them creative expressions. Our time in the library was anything but dull. If it wasn't us playing Taboo or code names, always fun until someone takes a little too much pride in their guessing skills. You could find us knee-deep in crosswords or poker games with Kai. Or taking a much-needed break for 9 Square. And to Mrs. Klein, we'd like to extend a public apology. We sincerely regret those accidental naps, the spontaneous basketball games in the senior room. We promise it was a strategic warm-up. Our enthusiastic yelling, wrestling matches, and the infamous Keurig mishaps. Don't worry, we vowed to clean it all up, eventually. In preparation for homecoming, we would flock to Miss Kaufman's room every day to practice the footloose and electric slide dances. Now, for anyone who stumbled in during those practice sessions, it probably felt like entering a swamp, complete with awful body odor, high humidity, blaring music, and a bunch of rowdy kids channeling their inner dance heroes. But for us, it was a joyful throwback to elementary school with Mr. Julka, where we first learned those moves. One of my favorite memories has to be the first day of Mr. O'Hare's physics class. Remember how he tricked us into thinking he was controlling a diver in a pop bottle with a laser? I still can't decide what was funnier, his masterful deception or our logical conclusion that it was all the fault of a catfish. I mean, cats like lasers, right? But if it's in water, it logically has to be a catfish. That was just the beginning of our laughs in physics. It wasn't uncommon for the entire class to pause mid-lesson to stifle our giggles, or when our constant clapping turned into a mini-rave that disrupted Mr. O'Hare's lecture. As we look back on these moments, it's clear that our senior year has been filled with laughter, friendship, and a bit of chaos. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way.
With all those moments past, it brings us to this moment that will soon be a memory. For the class of 2025, I remember getting our computer bags when we entered the HMHS building and reading the year 2025, thinking the day would never come. But here we are. Today is that day, in the last moment together, in one space, as Trojans, surrounded by all the people who have supported us throughout the years. So in our last moments together, I want to give thanks to those supporters and give advice for our class as we go on to a new chapter. To those in attendance and those who couldn't be here today and watching the live stream, we want to say thank you, because if you are here today or watching, you have made an impact in our lives at some point along this journey. We would like to thank all of the USD 410 administration, staff, and board members for keeping the show on the road and providing us with opportunities to be students and help us grow in our areas of interest. Thank you to all of our teachers who have taught us throughout the years in hopes to prepare us not only for our future education, but also our everyday lives in this world. Thank you to all the coaches, directors, and sponsors for seeing the potential in us and wanting us to succeed and teaching us that excellence doesn't come easy, and to gain excellence, you have to strive for perfection. We'd also like to thank the community for all of your support and the love you have for our student body. There is no other feeling that can describe playing, acting, or performing in front of a home crowd who is there to watch you succeed. Thank you to each and every one of our families for being there for all of our blood, sweat, and tears, and teaching us how to live this thing called life for the last 18 years. Finally, I want to thank our class for all the friendships and memories we have built. No one has said it better than one of our classmates, the Owen Dalkey. We are a dangerously close class. Now feel free to take that how you wish, but for us, it means it's hard to say goodbye to the things we've built. Something I've learned throughout my years in high school is that if a goodbye hurts, it means you've spent your time well. The final piece of advice I would like to give the class of 2025 is something I learned from an Instagram reel I came across way too late at night. It was a clip from the movie A Boy Named Charlie Brown. In this clip, Charlie Brown is upset about losing the spelling bee, and his friend Linus is there to comfort him. Linus says, "Well, I can understand how you feel. You worked hard studying for the spelling bee, and I suppose you let everyone down and feel like a fool of yourself and everything." Then as Linus is walking out, he stops in the doorway and says, "But did you notice something, Charlie Brown?" Charlie Brown responds, "What's that?" And Linus says, "The world didn't come to an end." So class, as you pursue your dreams and goals in life, know that when you stumble or even fail, the world will not come to an end. But it may leave you with bumps, bruises, and even scars, because we mature by damage, not by age. So go forth in confidence and be grateful and faithful that God has placed you right where you need to be.
Will Nash Dickinson please come forward? It is now my... Go ahead. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the salutatorian of the class of 2025. During his years at Hillsboro High School, Nash maintained the second highest cumulative GPA in his class based on the following criteria of 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 3 years of social science, and 3 years of science, which includes chemistry and physics. Nash has also been involved in a wide variety of extracurricular activities and organizations. It is my pleasure to present to you the salutatorian of the class of 2025, Nash Dickinson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nash Dickinson. Hi, Mom. Sorry. The salutatorian, if you don't know, has the second highest GPA in the senior class, so pretty much the first loser. Thanks to the B's I received as a freshman and sophomore, I get to have my own speech instead of sharing with other people. For this speech, I want to implement a few quotes I've heard over the years in my time at Hillsboro. A quote from the great Doyle Jost is, "The best speeches are short and sweet." I intend to follow that idea for the next few minutes. On a more serious note, there have been many wise thoughts I've heard from my coaches and teachers the past few years. I'm going to share a couple of my favorites with you all. Most of you who have played football, done wrestling, or had these teachers at some point as students most likely have heard these quotes. Coach Cox, "There are only 2 dates that mark every life, the day you were born and the day it all ends. But the most important part, The part that truly defines you is the dash in between. So make your dash count. Chase greatness. Be proud of who you are and who you're becoming, because your story is being written right now, and it's already something special. Coach O'Hare, don't worry about the things you have no control over. Focus on the things you can control, your attitude and your effort. Show up with a great attitude and give maximum effort. Both of these quotes are ideas that I try to take to heart, and I hope many of you do. Many of you around this room do as well. I briefly want to say a few thank yous that undoubtedly need to be said. Thank you, Hillsboro High. Thank you for all the great moments. I also thank you for all the bad moments as well. Without the bad moments, the great moments really wouldn't mean as much. My 3 years at Hillsboro High School have been the antonym of smooth, but there have been many numerous teachers, coaches, families, peers, and community members that have made this switch so much easier than it should have been. So I'm thankful. I thank you all. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by a community that cares about doing the right thing, even if it isn't always the easiest. We, the graduates, don't wear these baggy costumes just for fun and show how great we are. We wear them to show how great you are and how much we thank you for all that you do. For only a short hour-long ceremony. These caps and gowns show the many years of contributions you as a community have poured into us. And genuinely, I speak for the senior class when I say thank you. If you forget everything I talk about during the speech, which you probably already will before you leave these doors, just remember this one thing. When life gets hard and you feel stuck, always remember your why. Take a deep breath and remember the people that have helped you and the hard work you have put in to get to where you are now. Don't linger on the past, but have hope for the future. Don't be afraid of failure. And most importantly, stay strong in what you believe in and build on a foundation that doesn't move easily. Thank you.
At this time, S&C will sing Shaboom by Sims under the direction of Mrs. Lynn Just.
Hello? There we go. As senior S&C members, we chose this song because of the memories it brings to our class. It's significant because it is in the movie Cars, which came out the year most of us were born. Our 8th grade promotion theme was Life is a Highway, which was also from Cars. So we thought it'd be fitting to end our time at HMHS with another Cars song.
Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream if only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so fine. Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. Tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream if only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Shaboom, shaboom.
At this time, I would like to introduce our commencement speaker for today, Mr. Dustin Dalkey. Dustin Dalkey is a Hillsboro native graduating from Hillsboro High School with the class of 1996. Mr. Dalkey earned his Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree from Fort Hays State University, along with a certificate in K-12 art education in 2002. He also received his master's degree in education from Friends University. Mr. Dalkey has been teaching at Hillsboro Middle High School for the past 22 years. His wife, Emily, currently teaches 4th grade at Hillsboro Elementary School. Dustin and Emily's oldest son, Bryant, recently completed his sophomore year at Kansas State University, majoring in horticulture, science, and minoring in business. Their youngest son, Owen, is graduating today from Hillsboro High School and plans to attend Tabor College this fall. Please welcome Mr. Dustin Dalkey.
I have permission for this, right? I'm speaking to you, so I want to turn a little bit this way. This is a little bit weird for me, so we'll try this. Wow, thank you, class of 2025, for inviting me to speak, or at least Gabby Arnold, thank you for being the one that actually invited. Did the rest of you consent? Okay, well, thank you. This is your special day. I am so honored to be speaking. My youngest is graduating today. This is going to be tough. That was a huge act to follow, too. This is your day, your special day, your graduation. This day symbolizes an important ending of a part of your life, but also what's happening next in your next chapter. I promise that I will only speak mostly of myself today. You know, I spoke one time at Hillsboro High School's graduation. It was my graduation in 1996, but it was not because of my outstanding grade point average. It was more of a not it situation. I don't know if I was present at that voting. So I spoke at our graduation. Like I said, it wasn't for my GPA. But today, this is your high school graduation. As Mr. Weinbrenner said, I'm the 6 through 12 art teacher. And I've been there for 22 years. And if you know me, class of 2025, I'm usually perceptive of 3 things about students, and will most likely point them out when they stand out. One of them is hairstyles and new cuts. Man, there's so many new cuts these days and hairstyles, and the last couple weeks of softball braiding that's been going on, bubble braids and dragon braids and Dutch braids and all sorts of kind of braiding going on. The second one is new and updated glasses. Glasses are so important. I've had glasses since the 3rd grade. Cassidy had them since kindergarten, right? Maybe. And the third, most important one, is shoes. Maybe you noticed I'm adorning my $29 NASA shoes I found at the mall. If you want to space out right now, you have my permission, but just remember how many and count how many times I say shoes in this presentation. If you truly know me, you also know that sometimes I selectively collect things. I may use them in the near or very extended future. It's in my DNA, I believe. Well, it was a couple years ago when one of my uncles was in my garage, and he happened to look up in the rafters, and he noticed shoes. I had 7 pairs of old, high-top, worn-out Converse shoes hanging from the rafters, and he asked me, "What are you doing with those?" And I said, "Well, nothing, they're mine." And he says, "Are you going to wear them again?" I said, "No." Then he asked me again, "Why do you have them?" I said, "They're mine. I guess I'm attached to them. I like them. Don't stop bothering me, you know." Since then, I've hung up 2 more pairs. There's 9 now hanging up in the garage. And there's 3 more pairs in my closet that I'm just waiting to wear down enough to hang up there with their comrades. And someone asked me, "Well, why do you like Converse?" Well, anytime, anywhere, sight unseen, I can buy a 10.5. I don't normally buy shoes online, but these I can buy online. They fit like a glove, or they fit like a shoe, I should say. Well, I was the least. Follow me on this rabbit trail and this journey. My apologies, but Bear with me. I was the last of 4 children and the third of the boys, and as expected, I would frequently get hand-me-downs, including shoes. Or at least that's how I remember it. However, every so often I would get a new pair of shoes, and even though I would get leftovers often, I really cherished shoes. In fact, I remember in elementary school being able to order books on the Scholastic book order form. Do you guys remember that? Okay. Now, I don't remember ever buying a book from there, but I do remember ordering stickers. I loved the stickers. You could get the puffy kinds, you could get the scratch and sniff, you could get those googly-eyed ones, the fuzzy ones, the bumpy ones, the ones that you could rake your fingernail over and it would make that zip, zip sound. You know, they were those were fun. Or just the plain old flat stickers. I cared so much for my shoes, I would put stickers on the bottom of them so that instead of wearing out my shoes, I wore off the stickers. Tried to keep them new just a little bit longer. You know, shoes serve a great purpose, and choosing the right ones is important. Like some of you, I've worn a lot of shoes through my life. I wore cowboy boots when I was young. They could slide off and on real easily. You could scrape the mud off easily. And the heels kept your feet from slipping off your pegs of your dirt bike. My first job from 8th grade summer through high school was working on a dairy. Well, I wouldn't wear my Converse then. Those holes on the inside, I don't think that'd be a good idea. I wore rubber boots, different kind of shoe. I even worked construction, roofing, and doing concrete. Working on a roof, you couldn't wear cowboy boots, although some people did. They couldn't maneuver very well. You would wear tennis shoes or hiking boots, something with grip. And when you worked concrete, before you poured the concrete, you might wear steel-toed boots from crushing your toes. You know, there was a time when I couldn't peg out my own shoes, or put them on correctly, or even on the right feet, or even tie them. My earliest memory of shoes was wearing a pair of brown Hush Puppy shoes. I don't know if they still make them. They were pretty square, pretty ugly, but they were new shoes. They were the ones I wore for church, so they came out only once a week. They stayed new for a long time. My dad would help me put on my socks. And you know that seam that was on the end of those tube socks? Boy, I loathed that, Dad. We didn't have the fancy socks with the heels in it with the seam on top, but he put my socks on, and he put my shoes on, and he tied them for me just right after reading some select comics from the Wichita Eagle-Beacon. That's a newspaper. Even my oldest son, Bryant, we got him a little pair of Converse when he was really young, and I had to put those on. I had to wrangle them on his feet. My youngest, he hated shoes. He strongly disliked shoes. However, flip-flops, those ones with the elastic on the heel, he could do that. It didn't constrict his freedom too much, and he survived nonetheless. Class of 2025, can you remember some of your first shoes? Perhaps they were strap shoes or a good pair of cowboy boots. Maybe some of you girls had those jellies. They still make those? Maybe it was some slides, or dare I say Crocs. You know what I'm talking about, Evan Johns, right? For a moment now, think about those shoes. Who picked them out for you when you weren't able to? Who took the time and effort to get you what you need when you couldn't? A parent, a grandparent, an aunt, or an uncle? Perhaps your teacher at recess helped you tie your shoes when you couldn't. I still offer to help my middle school and high school students to tie their shoes. Look out in this crowd. I bet you one of those people are here today. Maybe a couple. You know, I've kept these shoes mostly because they mean so much, they're so much of a part of me. You hardly go anywhere for an extended amount of time without shoes. And just like that, they tell quite the story for me. They show me where I've been. Just like when I put the stickers on my shoes to keep them from wearing out, they always eventually wore out. Think about it. As the soles wear down, they leave little bits of themselves wherever they go. They leave little bits of you wherever you go. Little bits of your actions, your movements, your travels, your choices are left wherever you go. These shoes here show how much work I've put in. I end up mowing with them. They also show me where my faults are. They show me where I struggled. They show me where I best situate and where I've been blessed. Yeah, these. Man, look at these guys. I remember these well. These leather ones here, man, those are my faves. They were so good. Those are my new school shoes one year. I remember them. Your history of shoes have slowly worn off wherever you go, leaving bits and pieces all over the place. Where have you worn your shoes? Where are bits and pieces of you left? You've worn your shoes at the elementary school, Mrs. Fowles, Lennon's, Mrs. Bolstrom, perhaps. I'm sure there's bits and pieces still floating down there in that PE gym. How about the playground? I can only imagine how you wore your shoes down there. You've worn them up and down the halls in the middle school, the high school. Some of your shoes left pieces on the court, the auditorium stage, Mrs. Roberts' ag shop, and even in my room. Many of you have worn your shoes at work, perhaps Pizza Hut, Hillsboro Hardware, Rod's Tire, or even mowing a neighbor's lawn. How many of you have worn your shoes in your youth group, on a mission trip, or a distant place across the country or beyond? I remember your class the most, and I think it's because of my youngest, Owen, and that connection to the rest of you. Remember the food trucks? Somebody else brought that up. Remember the food trucks in 6th grade? Remember Corby Town, USA? Wasn't that cool? I was reminded about that from Janet Wisenhunt. She shared it on Instagram this week. I mean, wow, to this day, that's one of the most memorable, if you missed it, one of the most memorable, amazing, awesome project I've ever been a part of. You guys served food. I think it was it was okay. Nobody got sick afterwards or anything, but you guys made food in the library at your food truck, and you did it as a class. You created it. You wore your shoes there so well. I hope you realized it's not really about shoes. It's about purpose. It's about choices. It's about maturing. It's about how you prepare and how you react. It's about looking back at your 17 to 18 years of life and reflecting. It's no doubt you've had times of struggling. You've maybe felt disappointment. Perhaps you've experienced a family or a friend's passing. Hopefully you've experienced joy today. Are you experiencing joy today? You've celebrated even the little things, earning a medal, a birthday, or even enjoying each other's company watching the Minecraft movie. Take a look at your shoes. Go ahead. The ones you have on today, the ones you're thinking about from your life, Hey Dudes, cowboy boots, Birkenstocks, Michael Jordans. Side note, in 7th grade, MJs, man, Michael Jordan's is what everybody wanted. So I asked for a pair, and I got them. My mom had bought me a pair of MJs, only they weren't Michael Jordans, they were Michael Jacksons. But boy, could I moonwalk down that court. C-team starter and proud of it. Where's Mr. Bolt? Yep. They were comfy shoes nonetheless. Your experience as life here after high school will be exponentially greater from this point forward. High school is easy. You will most definitely wear so many pairs of shoes. And I can almost guarantee that there will be a time where you will need, again, somebody to help you pick out your shoes, put on your shoes, and maybe even tie them for you. This world doesn't guarantee perfection. However, you've been blessed with the company of so many others. You've been and are being blessed by the companionship of each other. Whether or not you realize it, from birth until this day, you've been in the care of so many people, parents, grandparents, relatives, bosses, church, family members, administration, and believe it or not, even teachers. We've been there for you when you've needed a helping hand, a gentle nudge, or even a graceful push, and we'll be there when you need it again. So, class of 2025, remember your past, prepare for a future, embrace those who pick you up, and stand beside you so that you can encourage those who need picked up. Encourage those who need picked up today. When chaos or hardship occurs, what shoes will you put on and how will you respond? When awesome and amazing things happen, who will you share the moment with and who will you thank first? Remember where you've worn your shoes, be it here at Hillsboro or elsewhere. Graduating class of 2025, what shoes will you pick out and put on next? Always remember, you are valued, you are loved, and may God bless each and every one of you from this moment forward. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, and members of the USD 410 Board of Education, before us are the members of the Hillsboro High School class of 2025. These young men and women have fulfilled the requirements for graduation as prescribed by the state of Kansas and USD 410. Will the class please stand and exit at this time? Could I please have the Board of Education come onto the stage at this time? Nora Hine, Junior Class President, will be reading the graduates' names today.
Gabrielle Elizabeth Arnold. Noah John Beavers. Cassidy Michelle Bernhardt. Hadassah Joy Brugum. Emery Roy Dalkey. Owen Daniel Dalkey. Kainoa Ray DiFiesta. Nash William Dickinson. Seth David Driggers. Dra Lynn Edwards. Luke Andrew Isaac. Colton Edward Jost. Lily Elizabeth Rose Major. Kenzie Paige Meisinger. Haley Joanne Miller. Tegan Lucille Miller. Trista Lee Miller. Alexander Lee Patterson. Aaron James Paulus. Gavin Todd Priest. Colton Josiah Rempel. Angel Gerardo Rivera. Levi Wayne Rogers. Logan Charles Rogers. Tasha Sanchez. Caleb Nathaniel Shield. Gabriella Ray Sabayan. Aiden Anthony Simmons. Derek Allen Suderman. Jace Michael Van Wert. Skylar K. Varan. Colin Brian Voss. Cash Edward Wallace. Anders Sorrell Weisbeck. Lincoln Friesen Wickert. Abigail Page Williams. Jasmine K. Wilson. Samuel Young.
Will the class of 2025 please rise? Having fulfilled the requirements of graduation and having received your diplomas as written evidence of this accomplishment, I would now ask that you indicate your graduation from Hillsboro High School by the traditional method. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the Hillsboro High School graduating class of 2025. Teachers, you may go to the lobby at this time. There will be a reception line outside after the recessional. Please remain in your seats until the graduates have exited the auditorium. Thank you for coming to celebrate the class of 2025.